and they're not winning football games. I understand they're loaded with talent. I understand that John Dorsey went out there and did a terrific job in terms of Kareem Hunts and drafting players and getting Odell and doing all of those things, making Baker Mayfield a starter. If he's not getting the football, Max, and he's not producing, trust me, it will be problematic. But to what degree, okay? He may be frustrated. He may do some of the same antics that we saw in New York, which to me isn't that big of a problem. He's motivating himself. Kicking a net, so what? He didn't kick anybody, he kicked the net. He didn't hurt anybody, he hurt a net. The net doesn't have feelings. So at the end of the day, I honestly believe it's the Cleveland Browns that have to worry about kind of managing and maintaining the expectations. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin, they've seen a ton of receivers. They see A.J. Green every single year. They've seen his teammate Landry. So they certainly know what they're up against in terms of playing against elite receivers.
Guys, you got to be kidding me that if anybody's having the notion here that you don't have the responsibility as a star in the league to not just get out and produce, but be a model citizen. And I love the way
But he's not, you said a model citizen. What has Odell done that he's not a model citizen, right?
He ain't won nothing. He ain't won.
That doesn't make him not a model citizen, dog. That doesn't make him not a model citizen because he hasn't won.
Listen, he hasn't won anything in the NFL yet. He's a star talent. I understand. Odell even said it. He said, I can't throw it to myself and catch it. And as a matter of fact, he threw a longer pass to Eli Manning. We're not denying that.
Ryan, football is a little bit different, unlike your sport. It takes 11 guys. In basketball, we can get 1 or 2 guys, and it completely changes the landscape. In football, you have to have 22-plus guys, offense, defense, special teams, coaches. Everything has to mesh. Now, do I think the Cleveland Browns have an opportunity to do something special? Yes. But what a lot of people are missing with the Cleveland Browns is they got to understand that Kitchens, the new head coach, was the interim offensive coordinator. They scored a lot more points than when Todd Haley was there. He was running the same offense that Todd ran, but he didn't have any real responsibility. He was just trying to become an offensive coordinator. He fell into this head coaching job. Now he's going to call plays, but he has to also manage the entire team. Forget the players. Focus in on what the head coach's responsibility is.
I just know he can't control that, and I don't trust if he's going to play his role. I know he can't control if they have to win a game running the ball, and defensively, he's going to play his role, Max.
Hold on. A couple of things. Number one, when you talk about, what the Browns need to worry about, losing Zeitler to the Giants in that trade off the offensive line, that's something we can point to. Odell causing problems, whatever, you might point to that, but did they just get giving problems to the North for the first time in a long time, and they just got better? Key, it's not just one receiver. It's Odell and Landry. It's not just one back. It's Kareem and Chubb.
Max, there's no question they're a better football team with Odell. This conversation has started because Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin was asked a question about worrying about Odell. And I would say that the Cleveland Browns have to worry about getting a guy with high expectations, the football in his hands, and let him be productive. Because if he's not, then he's not going to be very happy. I've been there before. I've been in that position where I was traded and everybody thought, oh, my God. So what starts to happen is you become less of a player if you're not getting the football and you're not producing. People start to look at you different. All of those endorsements that he was getting in New York won't be the same in Cleveland because if he's not producing, people are going to say he's not the player that he was in New York.
What's your gut? As someone who's won a Super Bowl, who's made all Pro Bowl teams and all that stuff, who's the number one draft and everything, when I look at Odell on the Browns with Baker Mayfield and these dudes, I think these are ballers. My gut says they're going to have a good time this season. What's your gut about Cleveland with Odell?
My gut tells me they're going to win about 6 or 7 games, man. That's what my gut says. But I can be wrong. I've been wrong before. The head coach scares me. He scares me. I'll say it again, Max. He was an interim offensive coordinator. Okay? That did well, got an opportunity, that was kicked to the head coach. Now he's over 53 plus guys, an entire organization. He has to now deal with the training staff, their strength and conditioning. He has to manage personalities on offense and defense. Is he ready for that role? In-game decision as a head coach is different than an in-game decision as a coordinator that's on an intern tag. That's all I'm saying.
Keyshawn, on a slightly different subject, but in that same interview, Tomlin said the Steelers' locker room drama was more perception than reality. I got to ask, do you believe him?
I actually do believe him because I've been inside those type of locker rooms where people assume that it's, problematic. It's a big problem. Yeah, you probably have one or two bickering players that don't like each other, but that's on every single team. Ryan can speak to that, and I'm sure Max can speak to it by being around it, that players don't all get along. All I care about is when we step on the white line and we get inside those white lines, that you and I, we align with each other and we try to help each other win football games. When we go in the locker room, I'm not trying to invite you to dinner. It doesn't matter. You don't need to come to my house. Just when we're on the field, let's protect each other.
I hear you on that, but in this case, I feel a little differently because both dudes who left, Antonio Brown, Antonio makes a lot of noise, and Le'Veon Bell, both of them point to the quarterback.
But Max, I never said that the quarterback wasn't a problem. You never heard me once say that. Inside the locker room, don't get along. When you step on the field, that's a different story. Now, if he is on the field and he is going out of his way to not include those players in the offensive plays like it was mentioned earlier this offseason, then that's something totally different.
Absolutely.
And also, when I look at this, you can't tell me at all if Big Ben actually went over to AB and made good with him, that AB still wouldn't be a Steeler. That's a problem in the locker room, dog. That's the problem.
AB wanted to get his money, too.
Yeah, right,
he wanted to get guaranteed money, which he got with the Raiders, and I don't know that he would have gotten it with the Steelers.
Yeah, Key, you could
all
sing
right, guys,
Kumbaya with AB all you want.
That is the perfect segue right here. We just mentioned the topic of money. We're going to talk about that coming up in the next segment. Keyshawn, you're sticking with us. Dak Prescott is